What is going on in Gig Nation? It's Jonathan here today with an update about a new gig that I just applied to, kind of on my endless goal to apply to all the different gigs. So I'm pretty excited about this one, and I just got done with the application process. So I'm going to be starting out and working on my first few tasks here in a minute. But I first wanted to just go through that application process with you and show you kind of what it looks like, what that experience was like for me signing up, and kind of how to go through it yourself. And if you don't know, I've been kind of applying to a bunch of different gigs lately, so I've got another cool video coming up for you about a more unique app that I tried a few weeks ago and how my experience went with that. So make sure to stay tuned because I tried out Hello Tech as a technician, and I'm gonna put that video out in the next couple of days. But this one we're talking about Takl, and the app is really cool. It kind of allows you to work as an independent contractor with a bunch of different tasks in the app. Now the range of different gigs that you can perform is really wide. I mean, anything from like handyman stuff, mowing lawns, painting, and being a courier and delivering stuff for people. The list really goes on and on. You can assemble furniture. It's very similar to TaskRabbit, which is owned by IKEA, but a little bit different in a few ways. So I kind of wanted to try this out because I like doing some of the different handyman stuff. I've done a lot of stuff around the house, so I definitely have stuff that I can easily do. And I want to kind of figure out what the pricing is on that, because I've heard from a couple of other people that have tried it out that prices are good. So here's exactly what the application process looked like. I'm going to pull it up for you guys. So the first thing that I did is I filled out some basic information about myself, like, you know, my name, phone number, stuff like that, you know, stuff that you need for your profile. And that was relatively easy to do. And then once I went through that, I actually filled out the list of skills. Now I went ahead and kept like all of these wide open, except for the heavy lifting stuff, and not because I don't like to lift. I actually did dolly in the past. If you've looked at my old videos, I tried that. I was doing that for about 6 months on the side while I was working full time, and I kind of hurt my back doing that. So I try and stay away from like heavy lifting stuff because it tends to just aggravate it and, you know, make my life kind of difficult. So other than that, I selected just about everything, and everything is pre-selected for you. I recommend kind of just probably leaving that out there unless there's something you really don't want to do, because you can always refine that later. But if you look through all the skills, there's a lot to choose from. So figure out what you want to do most, and you know, like I said, probably keep them all open to see what kind of pricing you get for different skills, because, you know, even if something isn't like the first thing on your list to do, it may turn out to be a higher priced item. Maybe there's not a lot of people offering that skill where you're from. So it makes sense to go ahead and just leave all of those checked for the time being. So after I finished this section, there was an orientation, and, you know, compared to stuff like DoorDash or Postmates, it's definitely a more intensive orientation than what you would get with those other apps. And, you know, for a reason, because I want to make sure that you know what you're doing before you hop on the app. With that said, it took me about 10 to 15 minutes to do, and I just watched a few short videos and then answered questions about the app. And it's really straightforward stuff like, you know, not taking cash for gigs that you've done on the app and other stuff like that, to just figure out how to schedule and how to use the platform, how what tools, how you need to bring your own tools when you show up to work, you know, really basic stuff like that. And if you've ever worked with a similar app, or really, you know, just any other apps in the gig economy, you kind of just start to know this stuff. It's really common sense and pretty simple. So that was a pretty easy for me. That was a very straightforward process. And, you know, like I said, compared to some of the easier apps, it's definitely it's a longer sign up process. You know, this full sign up process, it took me like 20-30 minutes total, which is definitely more than DoorDash and Postmates, but it's definitely less than some. There are some apps out there, some companies in the gig economy that do require sign up processes that took me like an hour to 2 hours, and I'll do other videos on those later. But hopping back in to this sign up process. So once you finish that orientation, you know, watch the videos and taking the quizzes, you're then going to go through document upload. And this is really quick. You just have to upload a quick photo of yourself for your profile picture, and also a photo of your driver's license. And as is mentioned in the instructions, the photo of yourself is actually really important. You want to look professional and, you know, smile, look happy, because this is like the first thing that people are going to see when they choose you for a job. And so, you know, if you're looking professional, they're going to assume that you're going to do professional work, you know, and that combined with what you write about yourself in the bio is really what's going to sell you and help you land those gigs that you want to get within the app. And so once you finish that, the last part of the sign up process is the background check, and they use Checker, which is the same as a lot of the other apps, but they do charge $30, which, you know, if you're used to like food delivery, you're kind of used to not having to pay anything for this background check process, but it's something that other apps do make you do, and it's kind of disappointing. You know, it's something that's led me to not sign up for other apps when I would have. I almost didn't sign up for TaskRabbit for the same reason. I didn't want to pay the 25 or 30 bucks, whatever it was. Maybe they even charged me 50 bucks. I can't quite remember at the time. But they do charge you for this, and it is semi-common. So, for me, I look at it this way. I see a lot of other apps out there that are like food delivery apps or even rideshare. And while they don't charge you for this application fee, they don't charge anyone. So it's just really easy to sign up for them. And it means that those apps are going to be kind of flooded. And it can be, difficult to get those high-paying offers. And a lot of times, once these apps get flooded, the pricing kind of goes down, and independent contractors end up making less. So while you do pay a little bit of that money up front, in my opinion, it can be worth it, especially if, the app, like let's say some of these tasks are stuff that you're like, stuff that you like doing in Takl, then it's definitely worth paying 30 bucks. I mean, come on guys, that's like 2 lunches. It might be worth your time, and you might end up getting some really high paying gigs coming your way. So that, kind of completes the sign up process. And once you do that, it usually takes like a couple days to do a background check, but if you've used Checker before, it might be even quicker than that. And then you can go ahead and start selecting apps or selecting tasks within the app. So as I mentioned before, I haven't actually selected any tasks yet. I haven't really done anything within the Takl app because I just finished my application. So I'm going to make a separate video for that. I just wanted to have one full thorough video on signing up. And why would you sign up for Takl? Why would you do this? If you're an independent contractor, a handyman, let's say you do this yourself, you may not want to sign up for Takl. I mean, if you already know how to do the marketing and bring in your clients, then there's no reason to take have this app take a cut of all of your earnings. If you've already got that down, then you might as well just keep doing work on your own. But let's say you're having a hard time finding clients, something like Takl might be a good app for you. And you should, just be fully aware that when you are using an app like this, they do take a cut out of your earnings. That's just kind of how the system works. So they're doing the marketing for you. They're generating those leads, bringing you clients, and they're doing, some of the back end customer service. So it takes all of that out of your job, but there is a price to pay. There are some percentage points taken off of your earnings, and you can't really negotiate the pricing as well as you could have outside of the app. Because the app is very consumer friendly, right? So it lets those customers see all of the pricing within your area before they decide whereas if you're just recommended by a friend to someone, then they're not really going to know that other pricing without doing a lot of work to check it out. So something to keep in mind, if you do have your own business, not always the best option for you. But let's say you're a student, maybe you're retired, or maybe you have a full-time job or other part-time side hustles, and you just want to do this here and there, then you don't want to spend all that time picking up clients. You want to just have them thrown your way. The money can be pretty good, so you don't have to worry too much about getting that cut taken out of your paycheck. It makes sense to go ahead and use an app like this. It does make it a little bit easier on you. It makes your life easier. You just do the part that you're good at. Whatever skill you're using, you focus on that. And that's always been something that, people say about being successful. If you want to be successful, focus on the one thing that you're good at and then find other people to outsource the other stuff to. So I think you can definitely apply that to Takl. Now, if you've used Takl before, go ahead and leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear from you what your experience has been like, if they have Takl in your area. And as I mentioned before, I'm going to make more videos on this as I test out the service and land some gigs through the app. So stay tuned for those. And if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and hit that like button and make sure to show me a little bit of love, and make sure to also subscribe to the channel down below. Thanks, guys.